Great. I'm Adam Willems, lead reporter at the FR.
And I'm Srikanth Geedipalli. I head AI products at Experian.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. It's been an exciting 2 days.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess to start, I'd love to hear what Experian is doing with AI on the credit and lending front.
Okay, AI, the big hot topic, right? Let me say two things, right? One, we've always been an AI shop, right? Experian is known for its bureau data, but we take that data. For the last 20 years, we have built predictive models, first using traditional logistic regression models, but over the last 10 years, more advanced machine learning operations at all. Now, more recently, in addition to building predictive models, we have automated the end-to-end using AI, right? Automation and targeting customers, automating and underwriting them. We build the predictive models, we optimize decisions, we do the whole end-to-end ML ops, we make the right decision. So in a nutshell, I would say Experian has used AI to enable more credit, financial inclusion, but also at a more affordable rates, right?
Okay.
So historically, about 50 million customers in the US did not have access to credit invisibles. I think that is down to less than 10 million right now, and that is thanks to AI. Now, I know you ask it also because what's happening with Gen AI, right?
Sure.
We are in a pretty regulated space, so that's going to come. But internally, Experian is working with Gen AI for productivity use cases, for customer service use cases, for marketing, and eventually this will go to actually using all lending. Long answer, but a very interesting topic.
Yeah, I've so many questions from there, but I guess one is, what are predictive models doing concretely in terms of use cases at Experian?
Oh, where do I start? How much time we have here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, the more predictive you are, the better decisions you make and lesser risk averse as a lender you have, right? So that would ensure more credit to more people. Now, to answer your question specifically, where do we use AI?
Yeah.
And my answer is, where do we not? So we use it to identify the right person to get credit.
Yeah.
And what kind of credit they get. So marketing, right? We target. And then we use that at acquisition. So when you apply, Adam, for a loan, I would say yes or no.
Right.
Or if yes, what kind of card, right? Or a personal loan.
Right.
How much? What kind of a rewards card you would. And then once you, a bank, say, acquires you as a customer, how do you keep you engaged? How do you upsell and cross-sell another products, right?
Right.
So you are continuously served way before, you need to call somebody and ask for more things.
Right. Understood. You mentioned or you hinted at the eventual use of Gen AI in the specific sort of operations of lending.
Yes.
At Experian. I'd love to hear more of what that entails.
Yeah, so let me back up a little, right? The big challenge with Gen AI today is lack of explainability, right? And lending is a very regulated industry, and for good reason. We want to ensure fair credit to everybody and not discriminate against it.
Right.
So we are not in a place, because Gen AI by itself is not explainable, we will not be able to use it for actually whether Adam gets credit or not. That will change, right? I've already seen reports in the next maybe year or so, we're going to have explainability, right? 5 years to the line. So what does that do? More accurate decisions means more credit for people. So that is one. But yeah, we are not stopping, right? We are not stopping for that to happen. We already use that for customer service, right? And these are going to come. We already have it working internally. We're going to release it to our clients and our consumers right in due time. The one use case that is already available is a consumer can go to the Experian website and get credit education that is driven by Gen AI today.
Sure.
Right? A lot of customers call into our call center, probably one of the biggest call center operations in the country. They call to say, to inquire about their bureau data, to dispute a report, a data point, right? We believe we have one of the better call center operations, but we can get even better, right? We can get better in being proactively answering them. They probably don't even need to talk to a rep to get their things answered. So we already have that going. Our productivity, the faster we can get our technology products in the market, that will ensure our clients can do better in their lending. So that would be another way that kind of meets our purpose of more credit, fairer credit for everybody. So our productivity, our technology teams are going to benefit, which will lead to benefit for everybody.
Understood. To return to the credit and lending component, a concern about AI is its use of historical data that has biases built into it, being then used to create predictive models or other, products and services.
Yes.
I'm wondering what Experian is doing to mitigate that kind of risk in the things that it's building moving forward.
Yeah, that is a good question. That is a tough question, right? And it's not just in credit. I think this is prevalent in almost every single thing
Sure.
we do, the decisions we make, right, as a society. Now, there are things, right, we can't accept that as a fact and leave it. There are things we do. One thing is we have a fair lending component into everything we do. So if you build a predictive model, for example, it might be the most accurate model, but we take one step ahead and we have a series of data that tells us how fair is this model. It might be accurate, but how fair is this, right? And fairness around race, around gender, around age, around ethnicity, around geography, right?
Sure.
We check all of these to show that it is a fair model. Now, what do we do if it's not fair,
Sure.
right? We rerun those models to get to the fairest possible, so we can kind of compensate for some of the inherent biases in the data itself. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Two, we also know there's only a certain extent we could go with that, right?
Sure.
Like we can't solve the whole problem. And there was in fact a session earlier today on fairness, and yeah, they said like they can only go to a certain extent, right? This resolves this over time. How do we accelerate some of that? We advise our clients on this, right?
Yeah.
We advise our clients on experimenting more in areas they have historically not experimented in.
Mm-hmm.
That will now give them the true data to help them kind of grow into that. So expansion, universe expansion is advice we give them, and we give them the tools and the data to help that happen.
Okay.
And then finally, we ensure the quality of data is accurate, and things like disputes, right? We resolve them as fast as anybody else can. And how does that help, right? You would see a lot of, inaccurate data being reported with certain underserved populations,
Right,
and they don't
right.
have the time or the means to come dispute it. So can we do that proactively? We have a whole service line around data quality, right? That helps our clients to correct their data, and we keeping our data as accurate as it can be. And so there's another lever to pull to ensure there's fairness in our lending.
Okay. You mentioned experimentation with your clients. What does that mean? Does that mean lending to new geographies? Is that lending to a different sort of tranche of credit scores, or what does that entail?
It's all of those
Okay.
and more, right?
Okay.
So all our clients have growth needs.
Sure.
They're ambitious, they want to grow. They do not do as much as they can because they're always worried about risk, right? You're trying something new. What if your risk blows up? You're going to lose a bunch of money. We help them to think about risk appetite. So we have an whole advisory services on, hey, if you're going to expand into the subprime space or near prime space where you have never lent, you don't have any data, right? That's one use case. Or you want to launch a personal loan product which you have never done. Or another one is, hey, you always lent with your own community, right? Like a credit union lending it to their own members,
Right.
And now they want to go national, right? They have a national charter, so they're going to lend to their non-members in a different region. We have advisory services that help them. How do you think about this? How do you think about risk appetite? What is the amount of risk you are willing to take?
Right.
And what is the optimum around risk versus your growth? So we help with that. Number two, we give them the data they don't already have. Right, we curate that data set to help them feel safe that even though they never have the data, going forward by borrowing our data, they can test into this. And then finally, we have a process of baby steps and then grow, right? So we will tell them, we'll give you the models, we'll give you the data, start small, get the results for that, work with us, and we will stress test your portfolio, right? And then as you see the results, we will grow, we will work with you to kind of scale up your business.
Right.
And that is kind of like, safe way to take some risks and grows the business, which is helpful to our clients, but also to the end consumers who get credit.
Understood. Thank you for walking me through that. Last question is whether there are any questions I haven't asked that you feel like I should have.
No, those were good questions.
Great.
Those were good questions. I do believe, I think we are at both exciting times
Yeah.
with a bit of caution that we all need to be careful of, to take as we go into this really unprecedented times, right? The economy seems to be doing well.
Yeah.
We have a ton of innovation as we're seeing here, but also affordability is at a
Yeah.
unaffordability is highest it's ever been.
Right.
Debt is highest it's ever been, right? So there is a question that the industry has to ask is how do we do what we are doing in a safe way that the whole thing doesn't crash in the coming whatever months and years to come, right? But no, those were good questions. Thanks. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.